Well, we've discussed a lot already, but let's delve into some of the issues in your manifesto. You've discussed you want more support for the elderly and vulnerable. What kind of support, and how would you introduce that?
So most of the problems I find is down to communication. There's an awful lot of people out there that just aren't aware what services are available to them and how they go about getting those services. I would like to see something more joined up where people can access that information, whether it's people that go around to visit these people. Maybe there's a list of vulnerable people in the community, and there's I mean, I don't want to say a social worker because maybe that's taking things a bit too far, but some sort of community worker that can go around, maybe from the council, for instance, and check on these people. Because even by me going around knocking on doors, I've found some very, very vulnerable elderly people struggling who I felt I've had to make phone calls to get people there because they shouldn't be on their own. Some of these people, I found a lady on the floor 2 weeks ago.
That is social work, though, isn't it?
Some of these people, there's a very, it's so varied. It depends where you are on that scale. So absolutely, some people will need that extra support. They'll need a social worker to go through a care plan possibly or something like that. But then there's other people that just aren't aware that there's things that are available out there that they could be getting, there's things that they could be doing. Or it could be like, say for instance, I met a young man who had special needs, and I was speaking to his carers, and he goes to a facility to give him something to do, to socialise, to keep him active. And they were saying during COVID, they were lost without that service.
Well, you've also talked about that's quite a local issue, but I'm sure it is one shared across the constituencies on the Isle of Man. But speak more broadly in the government system as it stands. You said you're against the way that votes or members are voted into Legislative Council. Other people have said similar things. How do you aim to change that, and what exactly do you see wrong with the current system?
So the current system is, I'm surprised it's actually still allowed to go on. Because what you get is you get the current MHKs who propose one of their friends to go into MLC. Then they basically get together and say, well, we'll get this person in as an MLC because they're going to help me get through what I want to get through Tynwald. They're going to be agreeable with my ideas, my point of views. That's completely wrong. There should be no influence there whatsoever.
Well, as an extension of those that are voted in, surely the similar opinions of the people that have been voted in by the public would be in the service of the Manx people.
Well, I believe the public should vote the MLCs in. There's too much bias going on there.
That's fine. You've also spoken out about how supporting tougher sentences for sex offenders, something that's been quite a hot topic, as I say, in this campaign so far. What exactly would you do to make a change in law, if that's indeed what you're after?
So obviously the high bailiffs or the deputy high bailiffs, they're just given scales of what they can pass down when it comes to sentencing. So they're just going by what they've got in front of them. They're following the legislation. So that needs to be changed. We need more severe punishment for these type of individuals. We live in a very small island, small community. These people need to be punished. It's a very severe crime. We have a very small community full of children, and we need to make sure our children are kept safe. Now, on top of that, of course, these people who are then sentenced, we need to make sure there's rehabilitation for those people when they're coming back out into the community as well.
Rehabilitation's an interesting topic. How would you fund that?
I believe the services are already there. We have already mental health services, which is, I believe, there's extra money going into that this year.
It's overstretched, though.
It's always going to be overstretched. It's always going to be overstretched and underfunded. But one of the problems I've seen, the health service as a whole, is mostly a mismanagement of funds. I believe there's never going to be enough money, but there is. That money could be used more wisely. So, for instance, in the last 5 years or so, the amount of managers and executive chairmen and directors within our government have tripled. And they're all on, 100,000, 150,000 a year. How many nurses could we get for that? How many social workers could we get for that? What are these managers doing? What are they contributing towards our service?